Flats and Hand Washing Challenge. For open topic, I did a comparison of 100% Bird's Eye cotton flats with a readily available flour sack towel. I wanted to do another comparison, but this time choosing readily available economic options for those who are trying to decide what works best for them. Now, let me preface everything by saying I'm no scientist. You can take these results as you will. I'm not perfect either, and I do things in my kitchen, so, whatever. That being said, I compared the Gerber flat diapers that you can find on like Amazon or at places like Target, Walmart. You might be able to find them at Babies R Us, I believe, places that like that. The Mainstays brand flour sack towels available at Walmart, and the Room Essentials brand flour sack towels available at Target. Now, I purchased all new materials and I prepped them all together simply because I wanted to compare the newer items. I have all of those things already except for the Gerber flats. I bought those new because I never had them before. But I heard that there was a lot of quality changes between everything, and it's true. The Mainstays brand flour sack towels used to be 27 by 27. Now they're 28 by 29. The Room Essentials brand flour sack towels used to be 30 by 30 and then shrank, mine anyway, shrank to a very rectangular size. And I found that they stayed fairly square this time when they shrank, and also the hems are different. So, like, they don't have 4 hemmed sides anymore. They're actually very reminiscent to the Mainstays brand as far as the actual, like, quality of the flour sack towel, like the structure of it. So, first things first, size-wise, as you can see here, the Gerber flat obviously is going to be the smallest. It was already really small, and then it shrank to about 22 by 25 inches. Now, the Room Essentials flat, or flour sack towel, shrank to about 28 by 29, which is funny because that's what the Mainstays brand is, size-wise, and it never shrank. And if I remember correctly, it even says like they're pre-prepped and whatever, like they don't shrink. I've never had shrinking with them before, and it still proves true today. They're the same size. So funny enough, my Mainstays brand and my Room Essentials brand flour sack towel stayed the same size. Now, as far as price goes, you can find Gerber flats for anywhere from, I found mine for $12.72, which is the cheapest I could find, and that was on Amazon. If you go to Target, I believe they're $12.79 currently, and at Walmart they're $12.99. So they're approximately $1.27-ish a piece. Whereas the Mainstays brand flour sack towels are $7.88 for a 10-pack, so they're about 79 cents a piece. And then, of course, the Room Essentials, very easy, $3.99 for a pack of 4, so they're about $1 a piece. Now, as far as absorbency goes, I did the same kind of testing I did before, and I ran this test twice actually. So I did two tests simultaneously and did that twice. First, I did a dry weight of each folded flat. I know that dry ounces are not the same as fluid ounces, but I know that water weighs 1.041 ounces. So what I did was I started with a flat, I took the dry weight, I laid it in a pan. All of them have been tested with room temperature water, simply because it was the easiest way to get exactly the same temperature water. Well, it's all room temp from the same container, pre-measured out to 10 fluid ounces each. Let them absorb what they could, and then I pulled them up and compressed them enough to get the dripping to stop. If the dripping didn't stop, I kept compressing gently until the dripping stopped for at least a solid 10 seconds. At that point, I took the wet weight on my kitchen scale. I took the difference between the two, multiplied it by the 1.041, and got my quantity absorbed based on weight. And then I took the remaining water in the pan, measured it out I have those, in fact, I think it's sitting on my table? No, it's in my dish drain. Using those like breast milk containers you can get from the hospital that go down to the 10th of an ounce. Like you can measure it by tenths, which is really nice as far as like I was able to get a much more accurate measurement with that. So I used that as well. And like I said, I did the test twice. So I was doing volumetrically, I was doing by weight to determine what I got. Now, when I did the first run of this, I started with Gerber. I had a dry weight of 1.4 ounces, a wet weight of 5.95 ounces, and which came to, with the difference multiplied by the weight of water, the 1.041 ounces, I ended up with 4.55 ounces absorbed. Now, based on volumetrically, the 10 ounces minus what the remaining 5.6 ounces yielded me 4.4 ounces. So the average between the two, approximately 4.57 ounces. Now, for the Mainstays flour sack towels, they had a starting dry weight of 2.25 ounces. The wet weight was 7.70 ounces, so the difference between the two multiplied by the weight of water was 5.67 fluid ounces. Now, as far as the volumetric measurements, I had the 10 ounces, I minused the remaining 4.7 and got 5.3. So you could say that the Mainstays brand flour sack towels absorb approximately 5.5 ounces. And as far as Room Essentials brand goes, their flour sack towels had a dry weight of 2.45 ounces. The wet weight was 8.95 ounces, so the difference between the two, multiplied by the 1.041, was 6.77 ounces. Volumetrically, the difference ended up being 6.3 ounces for an average of about 6.5 ounces. So that was interesting. You have Gerber is 4.5, Mainstays, which is 5.5, and Room Essentials, which is 6.5. I wasn't expecting quite that much of a difference, and I expected Gerber and Mainstays to be much closer together as far as their level of absorbency, because to me they seemed about the same thickness. In fact, here you can see them hanging on the line drying after I did the experiment, and you can just see with the light penetrating through the thicknesses of each of the fabrics. So when I ran the test again the next day, we had higher humidity levels, and so I got a slightly different starting weight, a different ending weight, a different amounts absorbed because you figure there's humidity and such. But my results stayed fairly consistent. I got a smidge over 4.5 with the Gerber, a smidge under 5.5 with the Mainstays, and a flat 6.15 with the Room Essentials brand. So I think it's safe to say that you're looking about 4 to 5 ounces with the Gerber flats, about 5 to 6 ounces with the Mainstays flour sack towel, and about 6 to 7 ounces with the Room Essentials brand. And of course, there's the variations like humidity, temperature, things like that. So all in all, you take that information and do what you will. It's obvious that, based on the size, the weight of the flat, the thickness that you can see, that the Gerbers obviously are going to absorb the least, and unfortunately they're the most expensive. Whereas the Mainstays flour sack towels is your most economic option. $7.88 for a 10-pack is a great amount, and they absorb it absorbs like pretty much right in the middle. It's a very nice middle ground, and honestly they work really well if you're trying to build your stash very affordably. I used them myself and they work great. Now, the Room Essentials brand used to be my top go-to. My old Room Essential brand flour sack towels are very soft. They're very well made. All 4 sides are hemmed, and before it was bar none, definitely go get those. Considering they now are a bit scratchier and I think even maybe a touch thinner, although I haven't done any comparisons with the older ones to the newer ones to know, and honestly it doesn't matter because they're not available anymore. They're still really, really absorbent. I was actually surprised how much more consistently absorbent the Room Essentials brand was. So if you have a heavier wetter, it might be to your advantage to go ahead and just invest in some $1 flour sack towels from Target. However, if your baby just kind of is an average wetter or even wets on the lighter side, definitely get the Mainstays flour sack towels. They're very cheap. They're the cheapest option and they work really well. I cannot recommend Gerber. In fact, I am actually very disappointed in Gerber. I have tried their all-in-ones before as well. Their cloth diapers, I feel like, set people up for failure. And unfortunately, because they don't work as well. They don't work very well. They're far from the kind of quality you'll get from other brands who are comparatively priced. So I'm just surprised at how bad they are, and I really shouldn't be. Their all-in-ones were a huge letdown too. And I feel like if people are trying to shop for someone they know is cloth diapering, they're going to think, oh, Gerber, of course. Gerber sells cloth diapers, but their cloth diapers, so far, all I've experimented with so far, are very poor quality in my opinion, having tried all kinds of different brands I can get my hands on. And if you want to buy somebody flats for their baby shower and you're just trying to find something readily available, you're going to do yourself and them a favor by just going ahead and buying flour sack towels. They're cheaper and they're more absorbent. They're larger. They'll fit larger babies for a longer amount of time. So that's my 2 cents. You can take this information, do as you will. If you want to do your own experiments, I'm interested in knowing what you come up with. Anybody who's watched my other video about the comparison between the Bird's Eye Cotton Flat and the Mainstays brand flour sack towel will know that I've actually gotten fairly consistent results. As you can see here, this is what I got when I did the test before with the Mainstays. So my results, I think, are staying fairly consistent. And so I think it's a pretty safe average to say about 4.5 ounces for Gerber, 5.5 ounces for Mainstays, 6.5 ounces for Room Essentials, give or take, depending on, humidity, things and such. So, thank you for watching. If there's any other videos you'd like to see, or if there's anything you'd like me to touch on, or anything you'd like me to elaborate more on, absolutely let me know. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in any of my future videos, hit subscribe. I can't tell you when they'll show up, but if you hit subscribe, YouTube will tell you when they show up. And I've got some interesting videos planned for up ahead, including ways to repurpose flats and pre-folds, beyond cloth diapering, and all kinds of other stuff. I've got like a list and it's in my head floating around and everything. So thanks for watching and have a great day.